TCP. I am Mr. Wilson from the TCP Academy. You can find us online at tcp-academy.teachable.com. Today we're going to be looking at the joint. Fascinating, isn't it? Looking at a skeleton dancing. Wow, let's hop right into the lesson and see what it holds for us. What is a joint? That's the first question to be answered. What do you think a joint is? Let's check it out. A joint is a place in the body where two bones meet. Pretty much like we would have had two pieces of fabric and we would have pretty much stitched them together. Wherever those two pieces of fabric meet, pretty much. Last year, many students differed on their CXC exams as they were afraid of failure due to their level of readiness. This year, Mr. Wilson and his experienced team from tcpacademy.teachable.com is here to help you get exam ready. Subscribe for free to tcp-academy.teachable.com. We offer courses in CXC Biology, HSB, English Language, and many others. There are several offerings to each course. Enroll in one today. It's like that with joints. So we have two bones meeting at that point. Now follow us for more on parts of a joint. But today we're going to be looking at joints, and then we're going to be giving you a video on the various parts of a joint. Wow! Joints can be classified into three groups. The video on screen, which of the group do you think it represents? Look at the skull. There are some lines there that should provide some amount of assistance as to the type of joint that is represented. Here we're seeing one, and if we look closely we will see others. Here we're seeing another. Here we're seeing a nice, see there nicely, right? So which do we think it is? Let's see if we got that right. Great. Some joints really don't move, and this is an example of a joint that does not move. It's called a fixed joint or immovable joint. In some cases, it's referred to as a suture. This type of joint does not move as the bones are fused together. They are found in the skull, same place we call the cranium as is on the screen, and in the pelvic or hip region of the body. That's pretty much where the legs meet the abdomen, that region there, pelvic region. We're looking at another type of joint, and this type of joint is called a movable joint. Now, if you observe there, the skeleton is moving just about all the joints, and we also refer to these joints as synovial joints. Now, some joint, example of these, are pretty much movable joint, and they allow for just about movement in almost all planes. The body has two such joints, and these two type of joint referred to as synovial joint. There are the hinge joint and of course the ball and socket joint. You want to get used to these joints as we go through the syllabus. Now look at this joint. Which joint is represented here in that pink or purple region? It is the partially movable joint. Great. And it is also referred to as gliding joint. They allow for little movement when compared to movable joint. Now the bones slide over each other to produce a movement. And we're looking at this region here, the region right here. That's the area that we're looking at for the partially movable joint. They are found pretty much in the ankle, or we call it tarsals, and in the wrists, we call carpals. Now, they are also found in the neck, but in the neck, we refer to them as pivot joint, and they are found between the atlas and axis, and they allow for some movement of the head. Let's look at this animation to the specific type of joint. Now, can you identify the joint that is circled in blue? Yes, the joint on the skeleton. Let's go. Great, it's a hinge joint. So you're seeing those pulsing circle indicating the hinge joint. Now look at the animation. It allows only for movement in one plane. So you can pretty much relate to this. You can bend the elbow up and you can take it down. Bend it up and you can take it down. It's pretty much that diagram that we use pretty much to demonstrate the antagonistic movement of muscle. But let's talk a little bit more about it. It allows for movement in one plane as you're seeing up and down. They are like yes or no, so it's either you're coming up or you're going down. There's no other place that you can go. Interestingly, these joints carry heavy load. And you can attest to this because this joint is found pretty much in the arm and in the leg. So they would be very, 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 very strong in order to keep our body upright and allow us to lift things here and there. They are found in the fingers, yes, elbows, knees, and tell me, looking at the diagram, which example is not highlighted? Now, I want you to write that in the comments below. Example which is not highlighted on the diagram. That's the skeletal diagram. Now, this is another joint we want to look at. It is called the gliding joint. And if you observe, there's a pulsing blue circle around that joint. Now, it operates pretty much as the animation shows. It allows bones to just slide over each other and pretty much to get back in place. They are usually found in areas that are flat. Now, these joints allow for partial movement. They allow bones to slide over each other, creating movement. They are found in the wrist and ankle. They are sometimes found, not sometimes, they are also found in the neck where we have the pivot joint. Now, looking at this diagram and the areas that are circled with the blue circle, what type of joint are we about to look at? Great. The ball and socket joint. The ball and socket joint allows for movement in all plane. Now you can attest to this spinning the arm around and around and around. Now these joints allow movement in all planes. That means they can move in a 360-degree motion. Try spinning your arm like the animation and you'll understand. They are found pretty much in the hip and the shoulder region. In the shoulder, they are found where the humerus meets the pectoral girdle to form a ball and socket joint. And in the hip, they are found where the femur meets the pelvic girdle to form a ball and socket joint. So yes, this is referred to as the ball and socket joint. Here we have another joint called the pivot joint, and this joint is found just right at the top of the neck, the base of the head there, and it is a type of course, gliding joint. If you look at the animation, it allows the head to go back and forth, left and right, that type of a thing. This joint is a type of gliding joint found in the neck between the atlas and the axis. It allows the head, of course, to move. Now, importantly, we have the joint that is referred to as immovable joint. Now, these are referred to as suture. They usually don't move. They are fixed joints, and they might be responsible for the number of bone between baby and an adult to be different. So here we have the sutures in the skull or cranium. They don't move as they are fused. They are found in the skull and pelvic girdle. Now, this joint is one that usually gives students trouble because it's not on the CXC syllabus to be covered, but students want to know what type of joint this is. This joint is called a facet joint, and it is pretty fascinating because it's probably the only joint that allows anything to pass through it. So there are a number of joints here in the vertebral column, and they allow for the connection between bones of a spinal column. Interestingly, they allow the spinal cord and nerves to pass through. They allow the spine to bend. You can bend that body. You can twist the torsos. And guess what? The body will still be upright, not falling off, not sliding away, all because these joints are firmly fixed. Thanks for watching another production from TCP Academy. I am Mr. Wilson, and you can find us online at tcp-academy.teachable.com. You have just watched a presentation on movements and joints. Follow us for more. Please be reminded to like, share, and subscribe. You can find us on YouTube at CSET Biology TCP. Last year, many students differed on their CXC exams as they were afraid of failure due to their level of readiness. This year, Mr. Wilson and his experienced team from tcpacademy.teachable.com is here to help you get exam ready. Subscribe for free to tcp-academy.teachable.com. We offer courses in CXC Biology, HSB, English Language, and many others. There are several offerings to each course. Enroll in one today.